Blood and guts this week on AEW as we move closer and closer and closer to All In. Uh, well, we're literally a month or so away now from the biggest event in AEW this year over here in the UK. We're going to get into Dynamite and some more on Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on a actually really nice sunny day for a change over here in the UK. Um, some news about AEW first. Their television rights, there seems to be some confusion over in the States at the moment. So at the moment, Warner Brothers Discovery had the rights to the NBA. They seemingly lost those to Amazon. Then Warner Brothers said we've matched Amazon's offer. So the terms in our contract state, you'll be staying with us. The NBA have then come out and said, no, we're moving to Amazon. So there's still some confusion there. And that's obviously impacting the AEW rights because obviously what Warner Brothers don't know is if they're going to have to pay 1.5 billion, I think it is, to the NBA or not. So I think the discussions are coming to near enough a close for AEW, which is good because obviously at least then they know they've got a home. For Dynamite, they don't have to look elsewhere. There was that exclusivity period, I think, between the two companies. I think AEW just wants to get it now down and done so they don't have to carry on putting it to market or doing anything else. I think interestingly enough, I think it was some of their stuff was going onto their streaming sites, which was interesting because obviously streaming is the way forward. It's the way things are going. So we should hear more. We should know more, I think, in the coming days about where AEW's home is going to be. But it's still looking like it was going to stay on Warner Brothers, which is good. Which is good for them. It's good for they've got the relationship there. Makes a lot of sense, and then they're doing good for them, and they do enjoy AEW by all accounts. So it seems a logical fit. Will AEW get the money that they're asking for, though? I don't know. I don't think we will know. There's always going to be rumors and speculation. Oh, they didn't get this, they did get that, and it's just going to, there'll be, so many journalists out there that will tell you one story, may tell you um, two stories. It may be, it may be different stories, maybe the same story. The bottom line is they don't know, and unless it was ever published, and that's the thing you have to remember. So whether these things are ever published or not in terms of the value. Um, that Warner Brothers will have paid. But nevertheless, it does seem that AEW will be staying put in America on the channel that it is, which is good news for them, as well as Warner Brothers, as well as all the fans out there. AEW this week, they started with the coin flip for the Blood and Guts Advantage match, the Advantage, sorry, for Blood and Guts, which the Elite won. And Christopher Daniels was shown beaten up actually on that. The we'll get into the Blood and Guts match. We'll get into some controversy that has come out about it as well later on. Opening the show though was Chris Jericho and Minoru Suzuki. Chris Jericho with the learning tree or Jericho, which is a cheesy thing. But to be fair, I will say this to Chris Jericho. I've enjoyed the learning tree and in all of its glory, and I've enjoyed everything about she enjoyed everything about the learning tree and what it's done. So it's been very entertaining. The match against Minoru Suzuki itself, it was a million chops, to be fair. There's a lot of chops involved in it. Minoru Suzuki's a great, I mean, he's a legend, absolute legend. And Jericho is as well. People can say what they like, whether they like him or don't like him about what he's doing now. But he's still a legend in the business. And, it was never going to be a catch as catch can classic. It was never going to be a, somersault flip spectacular. It was always going to be this type of match. There was the ending was the low blow into the Judas effect for Chris Jericho to pick up the victory. And I don't think it was too many surprises that Jericho won either. I'm just not sure what happens next. Suzuki did attack Jericho after with the Gotch power driver, and Big Bill and Brian Keith attack him. And then Shibata comes out and he dumped out Bill and he's kitchen sinks Brian Keith. And they all leave. It's interesting. I mean, I'm not quite sure what we're going to get out of the learning tree. I think it's a bit of fun. I enjoy it. In terms of the match itself, it happened, and it was exactly like. I don't think if you had a high expectation for that match, then you were stupid. it was never going to blow your mind off. And you got to remember that there's also a point of these matches may not have lasted too long because of the blood and guts match was going to take up a lot of time. A bit like last week when Ospreay and MJF had that hour classic match. And it started the show. I we didn't do a review last week, unfortunately. My thing with that is, and I'm normally one that says I wish matches could go longer. I wish they'd cut the Ospreay MJF match shorter and had a longer Swerve Strickland Okada match. Just my opinion, of course. I'm not discouraging the match. The match was out of this world, but would have been my choice last week anyway. But yes, so this match itself never going to be a catch can classic. Was always going to go like this, and I think matches kind of have to be a bit quick on this, just because the nature of the blood and guts match and the longevity of that match was always going to take its toll on the rest of the card, really. But blood and guts matches do that. That's what they're all about, right? We do go backstage to Bryan Danielson. Now, interestingly about Danielson is that he isn't medically cleared at the moment, I don't think, or he's going to be cleared by All In. I think there's an issue with his neck. His contract's actually up on the 1st of August. Now, he did say that when this contract ends, it's kind of, winding down his career, winding down his contract, all of that sort of stuff, which is interesting. Nevertheless, Jeff Jarrett was there. He said you're going to be all in, or just a lot of people believe in him. So you've got to go all in and get the job done against Swerve at Wembley. All in. I don't quite sure what's going to happen about that. But nevertheless, Bryan Danielson's contract is up on the 1st of August. He's still suffering from a neck injury. I think they won't clear him until All In to wrestle. I think that's what he said, not on Dynamite itself, but that's what he actually said in an interview. I think it was even with Renee. It may have been Renee. But yeah, so listen, we don't know. I don't think will Danielson win on his last hurrah? Is that what they're going with? I don't know on this one. It's an interesting one. I mean, I'm glad I'm going to be there to witness it, for sure. And if it's Danielson's last hurrah over here in the UK, he will definitely go out of a bang. I mean, Danielson has a habit of just going hell for leather, and I we do get it. We understand the reasons, but I think there has to be a err on the side of caution with this. I mean, you've seen it. I don't want to use. I know McGuinness uses the term Britt or Danielson in commentary a little bit, but I do feel there has to be a little bit of cautiousness with Danielson. We know that there's, say fragile pieces to him, but the injuries mount up and everything else, and he's still got to be a father to his kids. So let's just sort of, I know that he's not going to want to go out any other way than hell for leather. So, but I think it makes good sense that they're not clearing him until All In. That's my uh thing on it. That's my take on it. Sorry, but I do think that it's actually good that they're not clearing them to All In. Just a quick one though. Next week on Dynamite, there is going to be a Statlander, I believe, a night Statlander. So Chris Statlander attacks Stokely and wants an eliminator for the title next week on Dynamite, I believe. So it's going to be Willow Night. I think it's Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander again in a world title eliminator. So interesting. Whether that will be, that's continuation of their feud. Makes sense. Still hot. Could still do with maybe something else on it. I feel as if that one's reaching the peak and maybe needs something, like a feud ending match, if that makes sense, so they can move on to other things. What that feud ending match is, I have no idea. But lights out match, maybe something like that. But we'll see. Talking of women, Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida was next. Britt Baker's first match back since injury. Listen, really, really good match. Britt did win. Shida tapped to the lockjaw. These two have got great chemistry together, and they'll always put on great match because of that. And I really do enjoy the matches between Shida and Britt Baker. They're two great women. They can go. There's really good, really, really good. As I said, the chemistry part of it makes this match always makes their matches good. There's no doubt about it. Interestingly enough, with this though, this wasn't the end. It was a good comeback win for Baker. Then the music hits of the CEO. Out comes Mercedes Moné to ringside. However, behind Britt Baker, and then subsequently attacking Britt Baker with a pump kick and a torture rack into a spinning power bomb. There is the Brickhouse Camille making her AEW debut. Finally, we're seeing Camille in AEW. She is a blue chip talent. That is for sure. I've seen a lot of her on the NWA, watching it with Fiona. She is a blue chipper for sure. She is going to run roughshod over AEW's women's division, a top tier talent to add to a lot more top tier talent that is currently in AEW right now. And kudos to AEW for getting Camille in. We know there was interest from the WWE as well, but AEW is the home of the Brick House, which is great news. The only observation or thoughts that I have on that is I don't I just don't know about this whole Mercedes Moné needing muscle. You know, I get it, she's the champion. It's kind of like the Diesel and Shawn Michaels thing, you know. I just I do know obviously eventually Camille's going to go and on her own and do her own thing. And if that's the way to introduce her, I've got no problem with it. I just feel that she's better than that, if that makes sense. I feel as if the debut maybe deserved more. She could have attacked Britt Baker. That would have been fine. Lining herself with Mercedes, we know that's going to tease a split later down the line between those two eventually, or what, Camille will go her separate way from Mercedes eventually. Um, but look, however, it's great to see Camille on weekly television again in AEW. She is going to be an absolute success there. As I said, blue chip talent for AEW, and congratulations to them to get that deal done. Coincidentally, just this morning I read that I think they had a San Diego Comic-Con or something like that last night. AEW was there. They made the match official for All In. It is going to be Mercedes Moné, Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship at All In London in just shy of 4 weeks' time, which is going to be tremendous for us. Another great, great match to add to what is going to be an incredible night of wrestling. Tickets are still available. Actually, go to ticketmaster.co.uk, All In. Now, I wanted to make a point of this because I feel as if this whole attendance crap and ticket sales, and it annoys the hell out of me. Before anybody starts slating AEW for the attendance of Wembley this year, okay, there has been an agreement made that they are going to tape off more of Wembley this year than they did last year, because I think Taylor Swift has a concert or something like that along those lines. So they've agreed not to open up all of Wembley. So before anyone starts posting any shit pictures, oh, it's only half full. Look at all the taped out bits. Blah blah blah. It's planned. It is already planned that they were going to do that. So don't even go there. I'm not suggesting the 81,000 is legit. I think that was already proven not to be. Look, I don't know. And I'm not the one that's going to sit and go, no, they didn't, or yes, they did. They said 81,000. There you go. I'm not going to sit here and argue the toss over a few thousand seats, but they've already agreed this year that they're going to tape off some of the arena for the Taylor Swift concert. So there's going to be less people there anyway. So don't even start with that bullshit. I haven't got time for it. And look, and I know that it'll still happen anyway, but who cares, right? It's a pay-per-view in the UK. We're all going to enjoy it. We're going to love watching AEW over here in the UK. They're coming to Wow's that week for Dynamite and as well. And it's Collision as well. I think Collision and Dynamite, probably Rampage. Going to be a great, great show. So shit on it if you want, guys, but it's not going to do anything, really, is it? Just let people enjoy it. If you don't like it, fine. Who cares? Don't like it, that's cool. You don't have to like it, you don't have to watch it. You want to laugh and joke about it? Well, you laugh and joking about something that you don't watch. Come on, guys. Seriously, listen, get over it. Get over yourself. Anyway, rant over. Let's talk. Look, Mariah, the glamour, Mariah, mate. If there's ever a character that capitulates or even kind of makes Tony Storm's character even better, it's Mariah May, and she was doing great. She attacked Mariah May. She attacked, sorry, Tony Storm after winning the women's Owen Hart Foundation Championship tournament, which gives her the opportunity to win the title in her hometown of London, All In. She attacked straight away with a belt. She busted Tony Storm open. She had a match this week against Mariah May. Had a match this week with Kayla Alexis. It was literally over in a cup of coffee. Storm Zero. She hit the Storm Zero. Funny enough, Tony Storm's finisher on this. They then play Tony Storm's music. She doesn't appear. It says it looks like it was a setup by Mariah May. Storm's music did hit. Here she comes. Big sort of hockey style fight. They're trying, security hit the ring, trying to separate the two women. And then she basically says to Mariah May, "Are you prepared to die? Because I am." That is an incredible, you know, you kind of don't get that a lot. Those sort of words when the women get there. An incredible, powerful few words that I don't know, capitulates. That's not the right word. That capitalize, even capitalize. I can't even think of the bloody word. But to make if you wanted to like be invested in a feud, and it only takes a few words, those few words right there, and you're triggered, and you're like, wow, that I want to be all over this. I want to see what happens. Tony Storm's been the best character in AEW for got this past at least 12, 18 months. It's been incredible to watch her. And then just on top of that, Mariah May doing what she's doing. I kind of wish that, and maybe there is going to be a stipulation on this. I don't know, because she did say, are you prepared to die? I don't know if there's going to be a stipulation added to this for Wembley. I know they normally do some crazy stuff. Stadium Stampede was last year, of course, and there still might be a Stadium Stampede this year. We'll get on to the big match, the blood and guts match shortly. I don't know if there's going to be a match this year that's going to be on AEW like. But these two, could they do a first blood? Could they do some kind of street fight or something like that? I know it might not be a feud ender because obviously you have to remember there is All Out the following weekend. And I know next year they're not doing that. I think they're adding another week or two before they do All Out. But this year again, they're doing All In one Sunday, All Out next. So we've got to remember it has to be a balancing act between the two bits and pieces. So we've got to remember that on there. But yeah, just those words right there gets you invested, and you really want to see what happens on this. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, there was on AEW this week also Will Ospreay. Now, Will Ospreay did kick off Dynamite this week. I wanted to leave it till near the end because there's significant importance. Well, near the end, because obviously we've got the blood and guts cage match to go. But I wanted to talk about this near the end of the show because the importance of it. So Will Ospreay kicked off. Obviously, he lost the international championship. So we didn't kick off. MJF kicked off AEW this week. He won the international championship off of Will Ospreay. He then rebranded it the American Championship, and he's got them. Looks a bit like the Lex Express, the American flag around the belt. Nevertheless, Will Ospreay has then come out and said he'd spoken to Tony Khan, he'd spoken to Christopher Daniels, and he has got a rematch against MJF at Wembley in All In. So Will Ospreay gets his grand match, another grand match at Wembley. He got Jericho last year. This year he goes against MJF for the American Championship, as he calls it. Now, I'm really looking for. I mean, look, they went an hour on Dynamite, and they're probably going to go half hour, 40 minutes at Wembley. The interesting piece to this was that Pac, the bastard Pac, won a match that gives him a future shot, which he then kind of mentioned about having his shot at All In as well. So the mind wonders as to whether we're going to see a triple threat match between Ospreay, MJF, and Pac at All In. Will he wait? Again, we have to remember that there is All Out the week later. So perhaps Pac is going to have his shot. And look, because he deserves a one-on-one opportunity. I feel as if it's a triple threat, he's the one that eats the pinfall in the match. And to keep Ospreay and MJF strong, it would be Pac that takes the fall. So I think we got to be careful on that. I would rather Pac wait until All Out and have a one-on-one match, even if he loses it, just so that it's him versus the champion and not him versus one other of the champion. Because he did win the opportunity, and it would be, I think, a bit unfair to take that opportunity away from Pac. So perhaps Ospreay MJF are all in, and then the winner of that goes against Pac or all out would be, I think, a fair thing. And either one of those against Pac, I mean, Ospreay against Pac, be take the money, so to speak. Right, let's get on blood and guts. Jesus, where do I start with this? It was fucking chaos, to be quite honest with you. It was crazy, this match. I mean, staples, tacks, tables, gasoline, unprotected chair shots. One thing I'm not gonna do is get into the unprotected chair shot. If you've seen it, you'll have your own opinion on it. You're entitled to it. It was ECW-esque. If you remember Dreamer and Raven back in the day, it was very like there's noise. I mean, it was regardless of what anyone says, and people can talk concussions. And look, you guys are not specialists. I'm not a specialist in concussions. I don't know. The sound of the chair was definitely gimmicked, that's for sure. It wasn't a in real, definitely a gimmick chair. They definitely, set that one up, but it made a sick noise as it smashed across his head. There was some incredible moments in it. I mean, they must have put at one point, I think the Elite put like 20 staples in Swerve. Swerve was smiling. Like even at the bit was a bit at the start where like Adam Page and Swerve were fighting on the outside, and like Matt Jackson was like, "We suspended you, Hangman. If you don't come in here, you're fired." Because he was just concentrating on Swerve. And they did have another bit in the ring later, which was nice because you have to remember that feud was so the feud was so intense between those two. They had so many, they drinking the blood and all of that jazz that happened before, you know. There was, so that you could kind of understand Adam Page and Swerve Strickland's, just going at it, and Hangman Page didn't really care, but they did threaten to fire him, which Hangman Page got in the ring because Hangman Page wasn't even really wanting to take a part in this. He agreed to do it. I think last week before, he said kind of like the Elite, he owes the Elite a favor, or the Elite said that he owes them a favor. So it was just like, it was what it was. But it was great. I mean, gee, there was four J drillers at one point for Mark Briscoe. I would have said this last week, and I actually wanted to make a point of this. Like, we didn't do the review last week, unfortunately, but AEW reviews are going on now. It may just be me on my own, but they will be happening. You can trust me on that. I'm not going to let you guys down. I will be doing them. If it's just me on my own, I'll be doing them. And I was going to say last week, I felt the storyline, I did feel like the face side of things, Darby Allin, Swerve Strickland, Mark Briscoe, and the Acclaimed felt weak, you know, but storyline wise made perfect sense. And we have to remember AEW is criticized for storylines. So, keep that in mind. So sometimes, in a storyline sense, you're going to have a weaker show. You're going to have a weaker, I'm not say weaker people. That's not a fair reflection on the Acclaim. But, if you were going to do a team AEW, would Acclaimed be in the top five people? Would Mark Briscoe, no disrespect to any of those three, I mean, at all in this, but would they be in your top five of a team AEW? I don't know. I don't know. There you go. I suppose it's one of those things, right? But anyway, the match itself, I loved it. I mean, I thought it was crazy, crazy as anything. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Coffin drops through tables, super kicks with tacks on air. It was just incredible. There was quite a funny point in this when Swerve was stapling everybody, and Carter turned around and done that, so he stapled his finger. I thought that was tremendous. I tell you what, I do. I love Okada in this role. I really do. I think he is box office in kind of this corporate role with Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. He is brilliant. I love him in this. There was just as a slight aside to that, if Eddie Kingston had been cleared, he would, or he'd not been injured, he would have been in this match. That was the report that come out, I think, this morning or late last night. So shame that Eddie weren't involved, because Eddie's the life and soul of AEW for sure. Now the end of this, I mean, right. There is a part of me that feels the ending was a little flat. And I think it could be a bit harsh, but this is just, again, an observation. They had Jack Perry handcuffed to the ring. Darby poured gasoline over him. Once his match, he says, you need to quit, and I want my TNT Championship match at All In. Uh, and basically, Jack Perry spit in Darby's face. And basically, and he doesn't agree to the match. He doesn't agree to anything. And Matthew says he'll give Darby the match. Darby tells Matt to say that he quits. So he did. Listen, maybe I'm being a bit over dramatic when I say it was weak, because obviously he's going to set the guy on fire, right? He's going to set his teammate on fire. So maybe there's a bit of harshness there, but I just felt with all the violence that went on in this match, um, it may have looked a bit flat, but incredible. Kudos to every single one on this. This was, a brilliant match. I mean, even the Bucks were handcuffed, or Matt Jackson was definitely handcuffed as well at this bit. So it is quite really, really good match. And for those guys are crazy motherfuckers for doing all of that stuff that they done on this. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And very, very, very well done to all of them. TNAW win. Not sure it's the end of that particular feud-ish yet. I'm sure as we move into All In, we're going to get something even all out. I keep saying All In because that's the pay-per-view that we're going to have over here in the UK, and we want it all, right? We want All In. I know there's All Out as well, so we have to be very mindful of that. But I'm sure that they will have a continuation of the feud. Look, final thoughts on this. It was definitely a one match show version of Dynamite. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. We saw some really good stuff in the women's division, the escalation between Mariah May and Toni Storm. We saw the twist with Camille debuting, whether you like it or not. It's a really good, twist to that bit. The blood and guts was a spectacle. Possibly, I will go as far as saying, and this is, although the ending, you can have arguments to say it's a little bit ending away. I do feel that may have been the best blood and guts match AEW have put on. So Arky's point of view, some opinionated, right? If you watch it and you got opinion on it, you're entitled to give it. So interesting to see what you guys think about that. Was it the best one? I think it probably was. But in just over a month's time, we've got All In. The card is shaping up nice. Remember, this time last year, we didn't even have a card for All In. I think it just started like a week or two before the matches started coming in. The good news about that is it gives that one of the criticisms of AEW, the storyline enhancement of these matches to get to All In, and the addition of some more when we get there, means that they're doing the right thing. So I'm really, it was a really strong episode of Dynamite. If, one match, definitely a one match show, but it was a great match to have. MJF, Will Ospreay cementing their feud as well for All In. It's going to be shaping up to be really good, guys. I can't wait to be there. Yes, I will be there this year. I'm feeling fitter and healthier than ever before. So there's going to be no chance I'm missing it this year. So can't wait to go. Really strong episode of Dynamite, guys. Listen, we're going to be back. TNA review later on today. Don't please go and check that out. Love TNA and everything they do for us on this channel. I know this is an AEW, but also a big shout out to AEW for the Lance Archer interview. With fingers crossed, we may get another one before All In with AEW. And, big thanks to them for taking a chance on us, giving us an opportunity to to interview their roster. Again, with TNA, I'll do that later on their one. Keep your eyes out on that. TNA coming up, SmackDown review. Monday this week, there's going to be a lot of stuff hitting the channel. There is going to be a Collision review, a Rampage review. We're bringing back the Rampage reviews, a little 8-10 minute show to do Royal Rampage this week, actually. And there is going to be a Battle Royal on Rampage to determine a #1 contenders match for a championship later on down the line. So that's going to be interesting. Yep, Collision review Monday. Also on Monday, I will be reviewing, I'm attending on Sunday, Progress Wrestling's Devil on My Shoulder show in Electric Ballroom in Camden. I will be attending that on Sunday. I will be reviewing that on Monday. Really looking forward to reviewing the progress shows. Always an amazing event. Looking forward to that, myself being in attendance. Keep an eye on HTT Buckle on Twitter, Hitting the Turnbuckle Podcast on all other social media. We should be dropping some more interview announcements soon. Looking forward to who we've got lined up. Hopefully we can get a few done coming up very real soon. Some interesting names as well. Talking to a lot of interesting names from the past and from the current. So yeah, really looking forward to doing that. Guys, just keep it locked on the channel. You won't be disappointed. And thank you all for watching this and every other shows that you've watched. Check out the Blue Meanie interview that dropped yesterday as well. And until next time, everybody, I'm going to do it because Dave isn't here. It's time to bid you all adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bang! And stay elite, everybody.